Hey everybody, welcome back to Hidden Heights Farm. So I didn't have an intention of making a video today, but I'm gonna go ahead and vlog this because this has been very frustrating. As you guys can see, I'm sitting in the Tractor Supply parking lot right here. Gonna go ahead and start this vlog. We're fixing to head to Lowe's because we're having a problem. So if you guys remember, Rachel and I have been adding on to our goat barn continually, you know, here and there as time comes freely to us. We've just been kind of adding on, trying to get this done before wintertime. Well, one of the last things left to do, we got a couple projects left to do before it's actually officially winter ready. We need to build the sliding barn door on the north side of the barn. That door is particularly important because if we ever try to, I got some cars like trying to figure out how to go around me. If we ever try to lock the goats in the barn, or if we need to keep them out in that new lean-to area that is all fenced in now pretty much, we wouldn't be able to do that. A lot of times we need to segregate some goats separate from the other big goat herd if we need to work them or anything like that. And this barn door is one of the only things that we can actually use the barn as a total lockdown area. Well, to get into video topic today, I always get online and do a little research and try to, you know, price check things and this and that. Well, I got online. I'm needing the all the hardware for the sliding barn door, and I'll kind of show some footage here in a minute, show you guys what I'm talking about. But one of the main things that you got to have for these sliding barn doors is the actual box rail, and then you got these little pulleys, these little steel wheels that slide inside there. And then they have like a hanger that you actually attach your whatever kind of door you have, whether it be wood frame or metal frame, you attach it to those hangers, and then that allows it to slide back and forth, which open and close pretty much. It's just a little bit different than your standard door that's on a hinge that just swivels like this. This actually slides along your barn wall. Well, I get online and Tractor Supply says, yeah, we got them in stock, we got all the parts in stock, and this is actually pretty local to me. So I head over here and go to get the parts, and they do not have any of the parts in stock. And this has been going on for like 4 months. I've been needing to do this and since summertime, and I get online to try to see when they got the parts in stock. Well, it said they had them in stock now, so I rush over here. They're not in stock. They don't have any. They said they haven't had any in a while. So I just pulled up Lowe's website. They said they got them in stock. So we're gonna head over to Lowe's. It's about an hour away. I actually am going to a Lowe's I normally don't go to. It's one that's a little bit further from our house, because the one closest to our house doesn't have the hardware in stock either. But this Lowe's here in Claremore, Oklahoma, I called them and they said they do have them in stock. We're gonna see. I don't know if they're going off of the inventory online that I'm looking at. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that they do have it in stock, because it's a little bit of a drive for us. But we got to get this done. We got to get this these parts. The door I have on there now, it is pretty much functional. It's kind of an eyesore, but if you guys follow us, we're putting that hay feeder right there on the side of this door. So what's going to happen is they're going to eat a lot of hay, and I'm sure they're going to waste some, and the waste and everything's going to build up, and this door is no longer going to be able to open. So that's why I want to go with the sliding door. And we'll talk more about that once we get to it. I don't know if I'll include it in this video or not. We'll see how the rest of today goes. But I'm going to head over there before somebody else buys it, because it sounds like these parts are a hot commodity.
2-point conversion in the last 2 games. He gets the first today. Handoff, Brooks running right. Cuts it up at the 45 and pushed sideways. Only one.
Okay, I strike out again. I get in there and I cannot find the product at all. I'm looking on the website to try to find the aisle number. It's not popping up. So I go to the service desk here at Lowe's and I say, hey, I just called here this morning. You guys said this was in stock. Well, I messed up big time. Evidently, they told me it was in stock in the warehouse and they can have it here. They said there's minimal items in stock. So, they said it could be delivered in 7 days from today. That's not going to work for me. So now I just wasted an hour driving here. However, there is another Tractor Supply in this town. I'm going to go by there and see. I haven't checked there online. It's just right down the road. So we're gonna go there and look, and there's also an Atwoods. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Atwoods or not. It is it's around Oklahoma a lot. I don't know if it's throughout the whole United States or not, but there's a lot around the Oklahoma area. I'm actually gonna go to Atwoods first and check there. I'm very disappointed in Lowe's. I did have to get something that they did have, which are these little fender washers right here. I needed to get those so it wasn't a total wasted trip. That's for another project that's going with this goat lean-to, the whole barn project. We're gonna put up a tarp. We'll probably make a whole different video over that. But man, I am very frustrated. I don't blame it entirely on Lowe's, because part of it is my fault for not being more clear and saying they're in stock at your store or in stock in the warehouse. I guess I should have clarified. I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't even remember. But anyways, that's another strikeout. A lot of this stuff is very frustrating right now. And I know you guys know there are certain items that you cannot get. And I don't know if this goes along with the whole shipping, the boat shipping transportation process that they're saying is out on the ports, on the oceans and all that. I don't know. I'm not going to go into that, but I'm just going to keep hunting. I've already wasted 2 hours of my weekend trying to get these whole parts for this whole project, and so far things are not going my way. Time is crucial, you guys know that. That's why I try to get online and make sure that these things are in stock before I make the long drive, because we live very rural. We don't have a lot of stores like this real close, local to us. So I do try to shop local, but in instances like this, I can't even get this stuff online. So I don't know what to do. Might have to come up with plan B or C and just make a different type of door. But let's go hit up Atwoods and see what they got. Well, that was a strikeout as well. They are in the process of moving their store to a bigger Atwoods they're building here. And they've already started moving stuff, which I didn't see any of it at all in there. So we're gonna hit up this Tractor Supply, and I think that might be our last hope for today. So fingers crossed they'll have what we need. All right, so they got the rail, but that's about the only thing they have in stock. So we'll go ahead and take this 12-foot piece and then try to find the other parts of the hardware somewhere else. All right, so we had success. We were only able to get the actual box rail, which is pretty much the main piece to the whole sliding barn door. But without all the other pieces, it won't work at all. So you pretty much have to have every piece of the puzzle to make the sliding barn door work. Well, Tractor Supply and Lowe's pretty much failed me. The only thing I was able to get at Tractor Supply was the 12-foot box rail. But there is a whole lot of other parts that goes to this. I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. We'll go take a look at the existing barn doors we got now, and I'll show you guys how they work and all that. And then we'll come back and unload everything, and I'll show you all the parts that it takes to make this thing work once you get it put together. All right, so we got some hangry goats here. It's not quite feeding time, but they seen me out here and they just assume that I am going to come feed them. So here is what we got here. These are the existing barn doors that we have on the front of the barn. We don't ever hardly use this, only when it's time to like feed we don't ever hardly use these doors unless it's time to like clean out the barn and stuff like that. But basically these are two different doors. So they got a roller there, and then two more on that one there. And I'll walk inside and show you guys. But at the bottom, they got these little guides, and that keeps the goats from being able to push out. And then whenever you go to open it, it kind of slides along this roller right here. So let's take a look inside. I can't really open it right now because the goats are all in here and they just assume I'm gonna feed them. Really, guys? Not yet. So this feed bunk was the best thing I've ever chose to do with the goats, because now they can't trample me when I come in here with the feed bucket. All right, and I still got this kidding stall in the way, so bear with me. All right, so here is the inside of these barn doors. As you can see here, there is those hangers. Those are also the rollers, and you just build your door frame, and you don't have to use metal. I think we're gonna use wood on this one, we're gonna see, but that's basically pretty much it. And I hear the quack pack coming in. There's the ducks. Hey, quack pack. All right, so the existing barn door we have right now, you guys can see it's kind of it's kind of fell to the side a little bit. It's not perfectly level anymore. It does open, but not functional like it should be. And plus, I don't like the way that it opens. So what we're gonna do is we are going to put that rail up along here. We're gonna put the sliding door right here, and it's gonna slide that way. You always want it going downhill rather than uphill, because if it were going uphill, it's gonna hit the ground right here, and we'd have to actually keep it real high, and then you would have a gap between the ground and the actual door. So we're gonna make it go downhill when we open it, and then I think it'll work out great. What do you think? What's up? You think it'll work? So anyways, one main thing you gotta make sure you have whenever you're doing this kind of door is a header board to put those big lag bolts in. So I think I'm gonna have to get another 2x6 and put behind here. Well, no, this one might work. I might have to put one right here though. We'll just have to see. That might actually work okay. We'll just have to see where it comes out. I'm not sure. This barn door is about 5 foot wide. So I bought a 12-foot rail. That way we can have a little overhang on each side of this door, and I'll show you what I mean. Since this isn't a traditional swiveling hinge door, this is going to be a sliding door. You kind of want it to have a little overhang on each side. So over here, and then we'll have about 6 inches overhang over here probably. And that will just make sure that there's not like a gap right here. We're not really worried about being airtight or anything, because like I said, we're fixing to close this in temporary, because that is the north side and the north winds will be coming from that way. This is basically a door to where if we want to keep the goats in the barn full time, we'll be able to. And since we got this lean-to built, we got all the siding over here, the fencing panels. What we're going to do is put that feeder in here, the hay feeder, and start feeding them in here. So they'll be coming out here all the time to eat. And during the winter time, we'll leave this gate open right here, and they will have access to the small pen rather than having access to all this big pen, because here pretty soon they'll start having kids. Okay, so here's our parts. These are the rollers that our frame will actually bolt to, and I'll show you guys how that works. This is one of those rollers, like I said, that was on the front of the door, and that's where the door actually slides through right here, and you can adjust this roller for the thickness of your door, and that just kind of keeps it in place and keeps the goats from pushing it out too much. These are the hangers, and how this works is these go on this right here. This actually, they'll slide on like that, and then you bolt this up to that 2x6 on the wall, and that is your support to holding your box rail up. And then you take your roller right here, I just got it put together, and you slide it in the end right here. And I might have to loosen this. This is adjustable too for height, if you need to bring it up or let it go down a little lower. And then basically your frame, like I said, bolts to these 3 holes right here, and then this just allows you to slide the door back and forth. So it's got all kinds of different adjustments on it. You can actually get stops for the end of your box rail to keep it from opening too far and falling all the way out, because I have done that before. So I told you guys that Lowe's and Tractor Supply both failed me. They both said they had the parts in stock, and they did not. So what store saved us today? What store had the parts? It was actually a local store. They had everything but the box rail, which I already bought the box rail at Tractor Supply, so it worked out. But let me show you the store. I didn't show any footage of me going into it or the storefront or anything. I might throw up a picture right here of one of the storefronts if I can find one online. So the store that saved the day is Orchlands Farm and Home. Orchlands is a local farm store here. They carry just about everything that Tractor Supply does, Atwood, stuff like that. And I never even thought about going there. I don't go there or use that place that much because it's actually on the other side of town. But today it actually worked out great. So I'll be stopping in there some more. Thank you so much, Orscheln's, for carrying those parts. They were very hard to find, though. It's not something that you just see sitting on the shelf that is easily available, I guess you could say. You got to kind of know where you're looking for it. I had to ask somebody to where they were, and I just got lucky. And I remembered that store was there on the other side of town. I stopped in there and I said, hey, do you guys carry this type of stuff? And they didn't think they did. So I walked on back to the hardware part, and I seen some of these hangers and stuff, and I was like, hey, this is it. So I went ahead and bought what I need. I think I got everything to make the door now, so stay tuned for a future video. Here pretty soon we'll try to get that door made, and I think we're going to use some lumber that we milled, that we used to make the feed bunk. If you guys noticed that feed bunk when we walked in the goat barn, or if you've been following our channel a while, last year we made that feed bunk out of oak. I think we're going to make the door out of all oak, and that will be 100% of the lumber that we milled here off the farm, a tree off our own farm. Turn into lumber. We're going to turn into a sliding barn door. So subscribe and stay tuned for that video. Thank you so much for following my journey today. I put a lot of miles on my truck, did a lot of walking. I need to check my watch and see if I met my steps yet or not. That was very frustrating. Like I said, I like to get online and do price checks and research to make sure that the stores have what I need in stock. But here lately, inventory has not been accurate at any of these big box stores at all. So like this video, leave us a comment down below. Do you guys ever find yourself in a rat race trying to find parts for a project and have a hard time, and then the store said they have something and then they end up not having it? I know it makes things very frustrating, especially when you work full time and you try to use your weekend to cash in on projects like this. And then when all your free time goes to chasing down the parts, you don't get a lot of time to do the work. So anyways, we love you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.